Back in studio, Joe Musso alongside Lige Douzable. Deuce, this is a team that, again, we talk about standard. We hold to a high one in Philadelphia. They get a win over a team that usually presents some sort of issues. What's your major takeaway from this latest victory?
I love how the secondary for the Eagles, we talk about Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, how they tackled in space. They were so physical in this game, especially to start off that first half. The Bucs could not move the ball anywhere up and down the field. So kudos to those guys as well. And you talked about it, the offense, right, being a little bit more inventive. Kevin Patula, that was the question going into this season, Moose. Like, he had never called plays before. When we saw him be extra conservative the first couple of weeks, by script last week, they had to open up the offense because they had a massive lead they had to try to come back and win. In this game, you saw a little bit more wrinkles. You saw the several passes to Dallas Goedert. And with Jalen Hurts, he didn't have, crazy, outrageous numbers, but efficient with the football, throwing it where he needs to throw. Todd Bowles likes to blitz. He knew exactly where to go on third down, and man coverage got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith going. So I love the balance on offense, and we're starting to see Kevin Patula getting rhythm calling the plays for his playmakers.
Let's stay on the topic of numbers because Saquon Barkley's this season have been subdued relative to the 2,000-plus that we saw a season ago. 19 touches, or totes, for 43 yards on the ground specifically, a touchdown in this one. We saw a wrinkle off of the tush push. I want your thoughts there on some inventive play calling, but also in the slow start, for lack of a better term, for Saquon this season.
I think a little bit has to do with how much he carried the ball last year. I think they're trying to take some carries off of him because the end goal is Super Bowl. You want the Saquon you saw throughout the playoffs. People tend to forget. He had a chance to get the record, but they sat him week 18. But I think that boded well for him in regards to how well he played in that stretch run throughout the playoffs. So if you're looking at this and you're Nick Sirianni, you're like, we got to take some carries off of Saquon early, right? We want him to build back up like he did last year. That way, when we need to lean on him throughout the playoffs, we can do that.
22 of 40 for 289 and 2 touchdowns for Baker Mayfield. Going to want to be further north of 50% completion. But my eyes go to the defensive side of the ball with this Buccaneers team. Where are their biggest inefficiencies right now? I know it's always going to be a tall task to slow down an offense that has as many options as the Eagles do, but where did they come up short in your eyes?
I think there was a combination, right? In crucial situations, situational football on third down, they struggled to get off the field at times. Todd Bowles sent some pressure, man coverage on the outside. We saw Jalen Hurts continuously be able to move the ball down the field. So when you look at it, like, box score-wise, just like they didn't give up a ton of yards, but it's those situational football scenarios where you have to be able to get off the field and win. And then special teams. We talked about it earlier, right, Moose? Special teams is special for a reason. If you allow a team to score in a third phase, it's really hard to overcome that.
All right, back on the Eagles here for a moment, because if you're trying to dangle a carrot out in front of yourself, staying motivated, they're not a team that, from all that I saw preseason and what we've seen early in this season, that lacks any such carrot out in front of them. But they check a box here because this is a Tampa Bay team that I know Eagles fans sort of look at a little differently in the challenges they've presented before. How do you continue to do that if you are a team that executes at a championship level to find that new ghost to chase?
To me, it's the leaders in your locker room. And I think Jalen Hurts coming into this season talked about it, right? We're not even thinking about last year's Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni, whether he was telling the truth or not, Moose said, we're not going to watch when they put the banner out there opening week, right? We're on to this year. We want to win this year's Super Bowl. We're not thinking about last year. So I think when you look at the leadership in that locker room, when you have Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Lane Johnson, who is banged up right now, those guys have played at the highest of levels, and they know what it takes to get to another Super Bowl. So they're not thinking about what happened last year. They're focused on being the best version of this Eagles team to win another Super Bowl.
4 for 4 and attacking that task. Another win here on the road against the Tampa Bay Bucs. More to come on CBS Sports HQ. Taking a look at Jalen Hurts' past 18 games, started and finished a perfect 18-0. How's 3,200? About 800 on the ground. 24 passing, another 21 on the ground. He's doing everything his team requires, and it keeps leading to victory.